Hey fellow nerds, Max here, and welcome back to another episode of Yesterday's Games Today, the show that scours the news so you don't have to. This is the last day of the second week of the show, so let's get right into it. Yesterday, Polygon received an email from an anonymous source. It was a leaked Blizzard email criticizing the Muslim ban. President and co-founder Mike Morhaime had a long email, and I'm not going to read all of it here, but there's a link in the comment for those who are interested. But basically, it promises support for a small number of employees and their families who are affected by the ban, as well as how the executive order goes against Blizzard's values. Like I've said before, I like to keep politics out of the show as much as I can, but I still think it's great that Blizzard is supporting their employees in these weird times. And again, we could thank Polygon for reporting the email that they were sent, and they apparently confirmed it with another source they have in Blizzard. Speaking of the ban, publisher Devolver Digital is going to show banned developers games at GDC. Devolver Digital likes to publish a lot of indie games that you may have heard of, such as Hotline Miami. Devolver Digital is going to have gaming PCs and Vive VR headsets set up at their GDC booth. They have limited space available, so they are going to focus on the developers who have made travel plans but had to cancel due to the ban. It's also nice to see that GDC is offering refunds to affected attendees. The Last Guardian is getting a permanent price cut from $60 to $40. I think that this is great for consumers. Of course it is. It's $40 for a dope game, but it's bad because the game didn't sell very well. The game released in, I believe, December 6th, if not earlier or later in December, and it must just not have done very well, even though it reviewed pretty great. It's just such a shame. There's a lot of games last year that this happened to, like Titanfall 2, for example, or Dishonored 2. These games are awesome sequels or original IPs like The Last Guardian, but people just aren't getting them. The 4X sci-fi strategy game by the name of Stellaris is getting an expansion called Utopia. I don't know much about the game, but I'm just going to read off what the expansion entails. It's including megastructures, which build wondrous structures in your systems, including Dyson spheres and ring worlds, bringing both prestige and major advantages to your race. Build tall and establish space stations that will house more population, serving the role of planets in a small and confined empire. Rights and privileges. Set specific policies for which of the many species under your thumb have the rights and privileges of full citizenship. Build an egalitarian paradise or follow a caste system. And even more improvements and updates, including free updates for every Stellaris owner. No release date yet, but it's coming soon. So be sure to get on that if you're a Stellaris player. Another sci-fi 4X game by the name of Galactic Civilizations 3 is also getting an expansion entitled Crusade. It will include a new campaign, new alien races, and interactive invasions. I don't know what that means, but that sounds pretty fucking cool. So check that out if you're a Galactic Civilizations player. Final Fantasy XV is finally getting that previously announced update that's going to change the controversial Chapter 13. Before that, though, on February 21st, the game is getting an update that will allow PS4 support, which is going to include 60 frames per second. So those who are playing Final Fantasy XV on the PS4 Pro will get 60 frames a second. It won't always run at 60 frames, but it will have the potential to and will do it when it can. February 21st will also include limited time quests such as hunts for the time being, and will later include things like fishing. The level cap is also being raised to 120, but you can't store experience beforehand, so you're going to have to wait for the update to happen before going higher. The photo capacity is also being increased to 200 from 150. I know a lot of people were asking for that. I myself haven't really filled it up that much. I'm at like 100, and a lot of those photos also came from the Chocobo Carnival, so y'all are taking lots of pictures. You're also going to be able to use the music player while riding the Chocobo, and then a booster pack plus for the season pass holders is going to include a new sword, a new fishing rod, and a new reel. And then March 28th is when the enhancements to Chapter 13 come, and we'll also be able to play as Gladio for a short period of time. I'm not gonna lie, I really like Chapter 13. I think that Square Enix has balls for taking everything the game is known for and that we've played and just kind of changed it up on us and turned it on its head. It only took me, I think, like an hour and a half to 2 hours, where I read people were taking like 3 to 4 hours, so I could see how it might get a little annoying later on. But I'm interested to see how they change it. I hope they don't. Well, I guess I shouldn't say I hope they don't change the story too much, because the story wasn't really great there, but it'll be interesting to see how drastic the changes are. Mafia 3 is getting its story expansions finally. At the end of March will be the first one called Faster Baby, and it's going to focus on stunt driving and fast cars. In May, we're getting one by the name of Stones Unturned that relates to joining forces with the CIA and is apparently affiliated with something happening in Vietnam. And then in July, we're going to get one called Sign of the Times that focuses on hunting down a cult and the drug-ridden counterculture of New Bordeaux. Titanfall 2 is also getting new maps in a mode. We're getting the mode Live Fire, and it's going to be 6v6 with no Titans, only pilots, and you're going to be fighting over a neutral flag in the middle of the map. And whoever is holding it at the end of a 60-second round wins. So there's going to be a bunch of 60-second rounds, and you're fighting over that flag. So you have to hold it as long as you can. Well, I guess not as long as you can. You have to be sure to hold it when the round ends to win. And the 2 maps that are coming with the update are going to be focused on this mode specifically. Even though the Wii U was discontinued, they're still supporting it with online games. The Virtual Console is getting Bomberman 94 and Gradius, and both games will be available for $6.99. It's nice for those who still play their Wii U. The For Honor Season Pass has been detailed, and I actually really like what they're doing here. They're changing up the normal Season Pass kind of thing here. So the DSC is going to be broken up into seasons, and it's going to take place every 3 months. They're going to have a change of season. Each release is going to have 2 new heroes, 2 new maps, and then the included gear and game modes. And the thing here is Season Pass holders are going to get everything a week early, and then they're also going to get the heroes and the gear just like right away. And then normal players a week later when it comes out, they could get those heroes by spending in-game currency. That's pretty freaking cool, as well as all the modes and everything come free to the normal people anyways. The thing is, I don't know if that justifies getting the Season Pass now. Like, the Season Pass users are only getting everything a week early and they won't have to work to use the in-game currency. I always like getting things with in-game currency because it's like I get to play the game more. Like, why wouldn't I want to play the game more, you know? But so that'll be interesting to see. It's nice that Ubisoft is focusing on changing up the Season Pass rather than just doing the normal ass DLC every 3 months and whatever. And it's also not going to divide the player base. And lastly, Fire Emblem Heroes is now available on both iOS and Android, unlike Super Mario Run. Still waiting on that. It's coming in March though. The game is on a smaller scale than the ones we're used to, focusing on an 8x6 grid. It's also including basically all of the characters from the previous Fire Emblem games. Like, the story, I guess, focuses on going through time in different worlds and such, so they're all going to be included. You'll get to fight as or fight against all the different heroes, which is pretty cool. And I got to try it out last night for about a half hour. I've never really played a Fire Emblem game. Like, I've watched my roommate play them and such. He loves it, and I'm kind of hooked. Like, I want to be playing it right now, but got shit to do. Going to be trying it out more later on. I may post impressions at some point on the channel, but we'll see. The game is free, and it has microtransactions, but from what I've read, we are unsure how those are going to affect the game. And then, like I mentioned, in March, Super Mario Run is coming to Android, and then iOS and Android are going to be equal, finally. Well, folks, that's the end of yesterday's news. Make sure to like the video if this recap helped you, and click subscribe for free daily news updates straight to your inbox. Also, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Remember, the show runs every week from Tuesday to Friday. I will see you all next week. This is Max, signing off.